Hi, welcome everyone. My name is E-Rock Christopher, and I am out of the Phoenix, Arizona marketplace and managing partner at the news organization newswire.net. And we're tremendously excited to do another one of our amazing interviews. And we have a product creator with us today. They're launching a new SEO dashboard software system in the next few weeks. And we've got none other than Colin Klinkert here with us today, who is the founder and CEO of that particular product, SERPed.net. Thank you for being here with us today, Colin. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for having me.
Well, I know that you got a tremendously busy schedule. I know that you're working and possibly flying out, I think, later today. So we'll go ahead and get started. Can you do us a favor, for those that are watching this, can you tell us a little bit about you and your background and how you got to the point of possibly launching SERPed.net?
Okay, so I'll give you the Cliff Note version, but basically didn't do particularly well at university. Kind of dropped out because I discovered internet marketing in quotes. It was kind of get-rich-quick schemes, and I just got my credit card in the mail. In Australia, they're quite liberal with giving you a credit limit when you are a university student. So I think it was $2,000, and I maxed that out pretty quickly. And from that point on, I decided, okay, it's time to start focusing on real business rather than trying these get-rich-quick stuff. And so we set up a freelancing business on a site called Scriptlance, which is now defunct. I think it's been purchased or rebranded. And what we used to do was we had a team of programmers, and when I was 19, I flew to India and met my business partner, and we basically hired a team of coders and designers and started bidding on projects on Scriptlance. Now from that, we used to take about 50% margins, which was good, but the business was not so scalable because I was doing a lot of the front of house work, and I didn't really want to be in that position. So the money was decent enough that it allowed me to start other online ventures, and then my then business partner, I actually gave him that business, and I focused on building other membership sites. So if you fast forward to 2007, there was a few other successes along the way. But in 2007, I launched a site called viralurl.com, and that's done about $4 million so far in 7 years, and it's still up and running, and it's going pretty well. I'm a co-founder there, so now I'm more of a consulting role there because my time is kept very busy in other projects. But that's kind of the cliff notes, and since then we've launched other membership sites as well. And I guess the bottom line is trying to provide as much value as possible for a kind of a small investment in return.
Very cool. So tell us a little bit about your new project that you're launching. I believe that you had said prior to us doing the live interview here that it's in public beta or private beta testing. But tell us a little bit about SERPed.net and how you started working on this project.
Okay, so the way it started was I got interested in SEO around about 2009 and started getting more and more into it in 2010. But I found that I had to have memberships and subscriptions to a whole bunch of different programs, and I guess I didn't really like, paying every different service to try and get one little item from them or one piece of data. And so it was kind of born out of a need for my own SEO, for my own affiliate SEO and also client SEO. And then it got to the point where it was kind of a usable solution. And so I branded it Inner Circle Assets, and I didn't want to do a public launch. So I think we had about 140 members at one stage, and the idea was that they were beta members who were beta testing the system. And then through a lot of help from people like Doc, who's on this call with us right now, and you as well, and some other beta testers who are involved, we've been able to create a system that we're quite proud of now finally. And so it was due a rebrand to get ready for a more of a public launch. And so that's where the name SERPed.net came from.
So how long has SERP been in development? Is this something that you've worked on over the last few weeks, few months, longer? How long have you been working on getting this publicly ready?
That's an interesting question. So the first parts of the tools probably started a few years ago, but then really we started getting the whole development team on it and really amping it up in the last year or so. So I'd say that it was a part-time project before that became a full-time project for I'd say the last year of pretty hardcore development.
So that seems probably like a fairly long time. So obviously, it sounds like you're getting fairly close with getting feedback from beta testers. Do you have a publicly set launch date that is going to become publicly available, or do you know when that's going to happen?
Well, I think we're pretty much ready to start taking public members now. The training's all going in, the walkthrough processes is all there, everything's in place, and everything's running fantastically well. So we're ready now, but we don't really have a rollout strategy as such at the moment. And the reason for that is because when you're developing something and you're putting so much into it for so long, like, you know, so much full-time effort and love and care, it kind of gets to the point where each day you're just rolling over, and so I'm at that point where I'm like, okay, we're ready to take on new members. Let's see if this thing is going to sell itself, because the way I see it from my position is that it really should just sell itself.
Interesting. So can you tell us a little bit more about what the software does or what the system does, and a little bit about what might make it unique and who can benefit from it?
Definitely. Well, I think that just through my own natural progression, it's at that point where I'd like to say almost anyone who does any form of SEO could benefit from it. And the reason why is because I've changed the types of SEO that I've done as the years have gone by, and I've always found it very useful. And so it's kind of been built up as more suggestions and feedback has come in, and also for me personally, when I've needed something different, like when I started getting into client SEO, I started focusing on putting in some things that I need for my clients, versus just with affiliate SEO or promoting my own products. So I think that really anyone can benefit, and that generally sounds like what many people say about their products. But I honestly feel that what we have here is we have something for the newbie and something for the larger SEO agency as well. Now, obviously, we're not going to be targeting sort of your 50-plus SEO agencies. We're targeting your 1 to 2 man initial SEO agency up to, say, maybe a team of 15 or 20. That's kind of where we see ourselves fitting in terms of our target market.
So obviously, I would think that, you know, based off the kind of the market research that we did for the interview, it looks like, you know, the SEO services in terms of different types of softwares or tools is a multi-million-dollar industry. So what would you say makes SERPed.net, the system, how does it make it unique or different than other software tools or auditing systems or fulfillment type systems?
I would say that it's the fact that it's the all-in-one system. So before, you'd have to have memberships to a lot of different services, and then you'd have to, I guess, go through the ones until you find ones that fulfill the exact need that you want, and then you'd have to find a way of tying all those tools in together. So what we have here is we've just basically gone out and done that for you. We've found what we believe to be the very best of each type of segment that you need, whether it's keyword research, domain research, site management, rank tracking, you know, sort of that broader situation. And we've kind of brought it all together under one roof. So we actually use a lot of API services from a lot of the powerhouses in SEO, so to speak. But we found that their memberships are more tailored towards sort of larger companies. So what we did is we'd rather pay them for their API data and then provide what we believe the smaller SEO agencies would need, rather than those small SEO agencies not being able to go and afford the expensive stuff themselves. And then, of course, we get back the data, but then we case it in a more advanced tool. We pull data from different sources to come together to create what we believe is required in SEO these days.
So let me ask this. I know some of the more popular tools that are softwares that are offered are like Moz, like Pro subscriptions, Majestics, RFs. I mean, is your tool, are you able to disclose that publicly, or does someone have to be a user to be able to find that out once they're inside the SERP system? But where are you pulling the data points from as far as getting that information for SERP?
So pretty much every name you mentioned, we pull data from, as well as others too. and it's dependent on the tool and the tool need as to whether we go and get data from there. But what we've been made a very conscious effort to do is to basically spare no expense in terms of finding the providers who provide the best data for that specific need. So of the names that you mentioned, some of them are much better at giving you your backlink profiles, and they're much better crawling the net, whereas others are much better at judging the strength of backlinks and also the trust ratings. So we pick and choose where the data is the strongest, and that's what we use.
Well, interesting. So if you're pulling data from Moz, from Majestic, from Ahrefs, would you recommend that a person who's a SERP subscriber, would you recommend that they are able to cancel those subscriptions because they have your all-in-one solution?
So that's a very interesting question, and I guess every person's needs are different. I can just give from my point of view. I used to always go and log in to those 3 services individually, and I haven't logged into those services at all in the last year. I just use SERPed, and so it fulfills all of my needs. Whether that's the case with other agencies, they need to find that out for themselves, because obviously we can't pull all the data that they pull. We serve a slightly different market, but for everything that I do for running my SEO business, I've only ever needed to use SERPed.
Well, very interesting, because obviously, if you're coming into the marketplace and you're offering a new product or a subscription to SERPed.net, is it a monthly subscription? Is it a one-off fee? Or at this point, do you have that known?
Yes, so it was never to be a one-off fee. Even our beta testers are all paying it, and the reason for that is because of the cost of all the data that we do pull. But it's a monthly subscription, and we've actually been able to price our cheaper package. There's just 2 levels. We try and keep things simple, but the cheaper package is priced at less than all the names that you mentioned for their cheapest package, yet we kind of fulfill the need of all, if that makes sense.
So I guess one of the value propositions of SERPed is that if you're saying that your basic package is less expensive than those other 3 organizations' most basic packages, in essence, they could kind of, quote unquote, get a kind of a free subscription. And it's not free, they still pay, but if it was fulfilling the needs of those 3 services and they could cancel those 3 subscriptions, feasibly a user using SERP could save over $100, $200 a month. Is that accurate?
Well, just on those services, yes, but SERPed also covers you in other areas. For example, your rank tracker. When I try and think, do we have who are our main competitors? I can't think as an overall who's our main competitor, because I haven't found anyone. But as individuals, so for example, with the rank tracking, then you have hundreds of competitors who specialize in rank tracking, whereas we don't specialize in it. So that can be seen to put us at a disadvantage. But when I compare our rank tracking service and what it's become now with some of the biggest names in the industry, I don't really want to name anyone, but for example, you have people who are paying hundreds, and I actually have a friend who's paying thousands of dollars a month for the rank tracking results, and he had a look at SERPed and he said, okay, I'm going to see if I can start moving over to this, because basically instead of being able to track one country like most services provide, we now provide where you can actually track by city, and also multiple countries, so you can track up to 5 countries or 5 cities per keyword, and you have total flexibility in how often that's updated for you. We also pull in, once again I said, so from other data sources like traffic sources and everything, we pull in all the data for you on your keywords there too. So I think even as a rank tracker, if it was just a standalone rank tracker, I think that would cover, definitely be worth joining us just for the rank tracker. But then of course there's everything else as well.
Well, I hope I don't put you too much on the spot, but obviously talking about the value of the rank tracker, some of the different services, I'm sure some of the people watching this would love to see maybe some of the inside, maybe a quick demo of some of the main features that a SERPed user could take advantage of. Is that something that you might be able to do for us?
Yeah, definitely. I can share my screen. I just don't want to ramble on too long. But yeah, I'm very happy to go and share my screen. So should I start doing that now?
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks, Colin. I'm sure that we'd all love to get a little bit of an inside sneak peek into the SERPed administration area.
Okay, great. So as you can see, this is very much unscripted.
Well, when we do our news interviews here at newswire.net, we try to, keep it as authentic and real as possible. So you can't anticipate all the curveballs that we're going to throw at you.
So are you seeing the screen there?
Yes, perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and mute myself out for just a second so that way we don't pull anybody accidentally away from the demonstration screen. So just let me know when you're kind of done with the tour, Colin, or I'll just kind of interrupt and interject so that way everyone can watch the screen recording.
Okay, perfect. So I know that a lot of websites, I think it was something like out of the top 500 sites on the internet, about 470 of them had light backgrounds. I personally prefer the blue, but if you prefer lighter, you can switch to the light view from your profile. I'm just going to go with a more gray instead of the total light, just for the sake of this demonstration. Okay, so what we can do is on the dashboard you're able to save all your favorite tools. Now this is very much a management system versus a specific tool system. Everything ties in together, but I don't want to take too long here, so I'm literally going to try and do this in 10 minutes. So what I have here is I have a keyword research section where you have multiple keyword research tools. For example, Ultimate Research. Now maybe you have keyword research tools out there. Maybe you can cancel them for this. I'm not going to suggest anything there, but if we have a quick look, for example, I ran a search. You can see you just put in a keyword and choose the database and hit search. And this is a search I did a couple of days ago. This is a demo account, of course, for you guys just to know. But I just want to show you. So for example, if you're using Google Keyword Planner or any of the kind of tools that use Google Keyword Planner, and there's some that just pull results from Google Keywords tools, you get up to 800 results returned. So here in this search that I did, if I come down to the bottom here, you can see that it returned 4,848. So you're looking at about 6 times as many keywords, and you can sort by any of these columns. Right now it's sorted by search results, descending. If I was to sort by ascending, we'll see what the 4,800th minimum search term was. Even at 4,800 terms in, you're still getting 320 searches a month. Okay. And what we're going to bring is we're bringing in the searches, the cost per click, which is great if you're trying to go into a competitive niche where you can maybe sell leads, or if you're targeting these companies for local clients. You're going to see a traffic value score. So for example, if I wanted to sort by the most cost per click, we'll see, okay, so people here are paying around about $20 for some of these terms here. You can see the traffic value if you get a ranking there as well. It trends over time, so you can see how popular these terms are and how they've been over this period of time. The ones in green are increasing in popularity. So for example, how to get real estate leads. So it's searched for 390 times a month, and you can see it's increasing in popularity. By clicking on the chart, it's going to actually show you that over time. You have, as I said, all these tools kind of tie together, so you can see related keyword domains. This is if domains are available. You can see the long tail keywords for some of these terms. So what we'll do is, let's actually just quickly do that. Once again, I'm going to sort by search volume. And I do want to state another thing, that there's a filter here that you simply click this and you can say, okay, I only want to see more than 5,000 searches a month. I want to see a minimum of $1 cost per click. And I want a minimum of 3 words because I don't want the real short tail stuff that's impossible to rank for. And I click filter. And it's now going to go and it's going to filter that for me. So if we go back down and see the numbers real quick, we're down to 88 keywords. So that's immediately cleaned it up a lot. But of course, I probably went a bit too aggressive on the filter there. And you can then export this with one click. You choose if you want text or CSV. And you can, of course, mark keywords as important as well for your link building campaigns. So let's just say how to become a real estate agent. This, as our seed keyword, gets over 12,000 searches a month. Now, if I was to pull out long tail keywords for this, what it's going to do is it's going to load the long tail keyword tool. And you can see I did this search yesterday already, so I don't have to run it now, but it can take a minute on the quick search. On deep search, it takes 10 minutes. But this was a quick search. And basically what this does is it's going to find all the long tail keywords related to the database that you choose. Now you can choose the database from any country you want, and you can check in Google, Bing, YouTube, Amazon, and eBay, and you can select all of them as well if you want. And then what this does is it pulls all the long tail keywords, and you see we've got 299 for this term, as well as all the related long tails, and we've got over 3,000 terms for this. And then what you can do is you can just copy and paste this and bang it into Keyword Planner to see the volume, the search volumes. What you would use this tool for would be for getting ideas for articles to write about. So for example, real estate salary in different states would be one option there. And another thing is also when you're doing, like, if you're doing a mass link building or tiered link building campaigns and you need to vary your anchor text, you'd then be able to sort of use these because these are what Google considers to be related terms. Okay, let's just move along, and I just don't want to take too long to show all these terms. What ranks where? Let's say that you don't know where all your rankings are for your site. You might have some rankings that sit around about position number 15 or 16 or something like that that you can improve and quickly get onto the first page of Google, which would then quadruple your search traffic. It's also great for looking at competitors. So that helps you find what terms you should be focusing on. So this is a competitor for a real estate company. So if I just click view there, I can see all of their positions within the top 2 pages, so 20th and less, and you can see how many records they have. So right now I've got it showing 20, but if I change this to all, I can actually see the total number that they have here. So we've got 100 entries that we pulled, and you can see their rankings, and once again you can sort by any column. So this is a very, very strong way of doing competitor research and also finding ideas for terms that you can rank for. Okay, so for example, you can see homes for sale in Bismarck, ND. These guys rank 4th, and you can see it's searched for 1,000 times. So that would be a term I might want to target, as well as some of these other terms up here too. So it's very powerful, works very well for your site or your client's site to find terms that you can improve, but it also works very well for getting ideas and seeing how your competitors rank. And speaking about competitors, you get Competition Analyzer as well, where you can just put in any keyword that you're thinking of targeting, as well as your URL, so that you can see how you compare with the other top 10. So what we'll do is we're just going to have a look at one that was previously done. So let's say how to become a real estate agent. Let's see how difficult it is to rank for that term. So SERPed.net comes with its own proprietary ranking system, and we give this an average ranking, which means it's not very difficult to rank for. So once again, you see all the stats up here. You can export it all to CSV, and you can see all the columns across here, including the total word counts on the page, the Moz ranking, all the social data. So the site ranking number 1, Investopia, we can see it has all its different social metrics across the 7 things that we show for, and you can simply hover over any of these columns. You can also see if they've optimized the keyword for that in their title. So for example, this one, WikiHow, how to become a real estate agent with pictures, WikiHow. You can see if it's in their description. You can see if they're using it in header tags on the site. Now, I'm not going to go into much depth in this, and I'm moving quite fast, so I do want to point out that you see here there's a tab, Tool Tutorials, and in there's video tutorials that people can click and go in depth on every single tool. We have a video tutorial.
Colin, I want to just mention, because I know a very popular tool over the last few years that a lot of search engine optimization experts have used is Market Samurai, and one of its value propositions is being able to do that kind of competition analysis. So it looks very like that's another tool or resource that you have integrated into your system, where you perhaps don't even need to purchase Market Samurai, let's say, because it's already included in the SERP program. Is that correct?
Yes, very much so. I actually think that we pull in more valuable data on our competition analyzer than what Market Samurai can give you for the top 10. But yes, that is correct. So yeah, that kind of covers the keyword research section. There are other solutions out there that have relatively high monthly fees as well. Once again, higher than what ours are, and we kind of cover that all just in, say, Ultimate Research and Competition Analyzer. Then if we have a look at domain research, maybe you're wanting to buy a domain, we have a few domain finding tools here, which is Age Domain Finder and Top Expiring Domains. I'm not going to explain how this works, but basically you can save templates. So let's just use, I don't know, minimum specs as an example. and it's going to load here. Okay, that's going to be a bit too extreme. It's going to return too many domain names. Our system has a lot of domain names in them. So let's just say, okay, we're only interested in seeing .com, .net, .orgs with age of more than 3 years. And let's say we're not willing to spend more than $300. Let's say that expiring within the next 5 days. And I like to do Majestic Trust Flow. So let's bang this up to at least a 12, even a 15. And so pretty much all of these domains are going to warrant further checks. And 15 here. Now you can obviously toggle sources. What you use this for is if you're looking for quality domains, if you're trying to build, like, for example, private blog networks, or even if you're trying to find sites for your clients or your next powerful niche that you want to develop on. These are all domains that are busy expiring that you can use and you can basically bid on and win at auction. It kind of cuts out all the earlier sort of work that you need to do. So depending on how aggressive you set the filters, as you can see, I let mine very loose. It takes longer to find than if I set my filters quite tight and it found less domains, then it would be very quick to load. But you'll see when we pull back the results at this speed, there's going to be quite a lot of domains. Okay, so here we go. 4,460 domains are expiring in the next 5 days that meet my criteria. I can sort by any of these columns, and as we're constantly updating the database with information, in the instances where there aren't the, for example, Moz data, you can simply click on the columns and it'll pull it instantly for you. So if I wanted to sort by, for example, any of these columns, I can simply sort as usual, and I can also refine my results further. I don't want to go too in depth here, but how are you finding things so far? You can see here on the time left on the right, as I'm scrolling, all of these domains are expiring within the next hour.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's very, very resourceful, and I think one of the things that I find appealing just from watching this demo is seeing that you're pulling from 7 different sources. So rather than having to go to different auction sites like GoDaddy or Namecheap or Sea-Doo, etc., I can just have it all aggregated. And how much time does that save you, right?
And also the fact that, yeah, it does pull all of the important metrics that you would normally look at. It means that there are services out there that are paid in order to find domains. You don't need those services anymore. The other thing is we have shortcuts to our other tools. So you can easily use Site Explorer, which is a kind of a proprietary tool of ours, and Backlinks Explorer, which is really kind of out of this world, which is why we used a jet to kind of signify that, you know, there's nothing else out there like that. And as you can see, this one here, let's just check its DA, because actually it's an expired domain, so we should theoretically be able to register it straight away. But I wouldn't register it though. Even though it's got trust flow, it doesn't really have any more stuff. But yeah, so pretty much it's very easy to sort through here. And the way I do my domain research is I first find domains here. This is the first step. Then I'd send a domain I'm interested in to Site Explorer, and from there I'd analyze their backlinks if I'm still interested. So what I'll do is I'll just show you in top expiring domains one more cool feature. What this is this is the domains expiring within the next 3 days that we think are, you know, of definitely worth a look at. And as you can see, we've got 1,400 domains in the next 3 days. What you have the ability to do here is you can also see what you can't see in the Age Domain Finder. We pull in all the social metrics for every single one of these 1,500 domains. So you can see if there's social. We also pull all the Alexa in as well. And what you can do is you have the ability to set up a monitor by clicking this button here. And you can set your minimum criteria of what you're interested in, and you can put in your email address. And every time our database refreshes, you'll receive an email with a link to this page, so you can get that information straight away. Alternatively, we have system notifications that are always popping up with useful tidbits of information for you, including tasks due and changes in your backlinks. As I said, it's kind of an all-in-one solution. By having this ticked, I'm going to receive pop-ups every time the database refreshes. So I'm just going to hit Update Filter, and what I can do is there's this little tab here which applies the current filter. I click that button, and immediately it's now I've only got 346 domains to look at. So these are a lot closer to what I'm interested in. So if I was just to scroll down to show you the next tool and say that I was interested in this domain here, I think that this one here would be worth a look. All I have to do is I click here, and it's going to send it to Site Explorer, which is a brand new tool. And now what's going to happen is it's going to analyze that domain in Majestic SEO, in Moz, and in Ahrefs. And basically, if I was to do this without this tool, I'd probably need subscriptions at all three, and I'd need to have 6 tabs open, because we're going to check both with and without the www, which these services don't do. So you have to run multiple searches, because the backlinks pointing to a domain are different whether if they're using the with www dot or without it, because it's a subdomain basically. So Google, when indexing the site, indexes one version and looks at them differently. So how do you know which one's the stronger one? You want to be able to see it in a nice overview, a nice table, and you also want to be able to check out the strongest backlinks to each one. So that's what we're busy doing right now. We're going out there and we're busy pulling in all this information for you. And what this will do is, in a glance, in about 5 seconds, tell me if this is a domain that I'm willing to spend money on or not. So it has the potential to save you hundreds of dollars in bad choices. And actually, would you mind if I just brought Joe off mute at this point in time, because he mentioned just before this call that he finds Site Explorer a pretty cool tool. So Joe, are you still there? Are you still listening to my rambling?
I am. No, you're doing fine. I just I popped a question in to the side box to make sure that you talk about Site Explorer, because I build PBNs and do PBN links for people, and it is easily the most valuable tool I use in the whole suite.
Okay, well, so for everyone that might be watching this recording, right, I want to introduce Joe, who is one of the beta testers here for SERPed.net, and Colin invited him to participate as possibly, maybe can share some successes on how he's used SERP to grow his SEO enterprise. So we're excited to have him here. And for those that don't know, if you are watching this and Joe references a PBN, Joe, can you explain what PBN would stand for?
Sure. A private blog network is what PBN stands for, and essentially it is a way of passing link juice from domains that have built up authority to what we call a money site, or usually the site at which you have your monetization scheme in place. And so I have clients who maybe they own dental offices or some commercial enterprise, but they want to outrank their competition, and they will either buy links from some of my existing sites, or they will have me put together their own private blog networks of 5 or 10 or 15 sites for them. And I do all of my research into the attractiveness of some of these expiring domain names through Site Explorer.
Excellent. Well, that's fantastic. So thanks for sharing that, and hopefully, if you're watching this, you already know what a PBN is. But we wanted to make sure that if you aren't familiar with that inside jargon, then we appreciate that explanation, Joe.
Sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. And what I did want to say now is actually I also analyze a lot of domains, and I've not often seen a domain like this. It's kind of interesting because normally you have a very clear-cut winner, either with or without the www. But in this case, if you didn't have this tool, you wouldn't be able to check this out in this depth. But what you can see here is RFs is saying that it's stronger without, and so is Moz. Okay. But Majestic is actually saying that the trust flow is stronger with than without. So what's interesting about that is that means that there's simply 1 or 2 strongish links out of the, you see Majestic picks up 13 backlinks from 7 referring domains and referring IPs. This is with the www stats, okay? So obviously one of those backlinks it's picking up is really quite strong, so that's where it's passing on the trust flow. And we can see this one here is quite a, probably that domain that it's passing it on from. But if you have a look, it's only got, like, for example, RFs and Moz both see it as like 13, and Majestic SEO 13, and Moz sees 4 links with the www. But without it, where the other ones see it as stronger, you've got 600 backlinks, and Majestic sees over 1,100 backlinks. So if you look at that chart, you can actually see that the trust flow of these ones is lower than. So the quality of those 1,100 backlinks are not amazing. That's what this all tells you. So whether you want to buy this domain or not, you can actually tell. I mean, it's only a $30 domain, but you can see that without this tool, you wouldn't know which one it's stronger to build it on or which one isn't. And what's interesting is the fact that I use TrustFlow the most. I would avoid this domain because there's too few backlinks on the stronger TrustFlow. And on the one where there are a large sum of backlinks, the TrustFlow is a little bit too low for me. That doesn't quite meet my minimum criteria. So I actually wouldn't go further on with this. But once again, you can see the difference in the backlinks by simply toggling here. And the other thing it also changes is the Twitter shares, because Twitter registers it differently as well. So I would say that this domain it used to exist without www, and that's probably how it's the strongest. But I don't like this situation here, and I would avoid this domain personally. But as we look at it without www, you can also see that anchor text to make sure that they're not too spammed, and sort of the referring pages for those different anchor texts. Now, if this was a strong domain, we'd then send it to Backlinks Explorer. If it was a domain that we're like, yep, I've decided I really want to bid on this, but let me just quickly do one last check. And I'm going to skip down and I'm just going to show Backlinks Explorer now real fast. So what I've done is I've actually done some previous searches on some domains. So what we can do is, like, for example, let's say this domain here we're interested in. I did this, I think, 1 or 2 days ago. Just remember this is a demo account, okay? So it's not my main account. What we have is something that you won't get anywhere else. You're going to get a PR breakdown. So what we've done is this is an exploration of the backlinks pointing to this domain. So in this case, hotelsinpraguecheck.com, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to see the breakdown here of all these domains, of all the backlinks pointing there. So you can see that this has 10 PageRank 4 backlinks pointing to it, 6 PageRank 3s, and so on. You can see the full breakdown. You see the median PR and the average PR of the backlinks that it found. So it's found 42 backlinks. And now you can also get the Moz page authority, because you see this is a new addition that we've added, and the reason for that is PageRank is updated so seldomly that all the people relying on PageRank are kind of missing a trick, because what's happened since the last update, I think almost a year ago, is that some of these PR4s could even be de-indexed now, or PR1s, and some of these PRNAs could be PR3s, 4s, 5s in terms of strength, but you won't know that because PR hasn't been updated. So that's why we have Moz page authority to give us a guide there too. And you can see that it more or less mirrors what the PageRank is doing. Now, the Alexa breakdown is interesting as well, because you want to make sure that you have backlinks from sites that have a decent amount of traffic as well. You want an even distribution here. If all of them come from very low traffic sites, then that could be a bit of a warning sign. And another addition that we've added is we check the IP address of every single backlink that points to these sites. Okay, and so this is the B class IPs and this is the C class range. So you can see on the range of 5.9.87, there's 24 of their backlinks, or 57% of their backlinks come from that C class range. So immediately you start thinking, okay, maybe there's a blog network going on here. And if we have a look at the stats, so it's 5.9.87, here we go, 5.9.87, this is the range. If we have a look at these domains here and we hover over them, hotels-in-budapest-hungary.com. Do you see there's a trend there? Hovetshotels.com, sporonhotels.com. You see they're all hotels, hotel names and everything like that, okay? So it immediately tells me that this person has a blog network and he's hosting them all in the C class range. So now this might be a domain that I want to stay away from. And you can see he wants to rank for on his strongest backlinks. But you can now sort these backlinks by anything. So if I want to sort by Moz PA, I can see what Moz considers to be the strongest ones. castlehotels.holidayhungary.com. So you can see it's all from the same IP range. So this guy has built a network. So I might not want to go and bid on this domain due to the information that I've seen here, even though it might have looked like a good domain to me beforehand. I now might be like, okay, I'm not so sure about this anymore. And also you can get the whole anchor term as well. I don't know if that's showing on my screen. For some reason,
yes, we can see the anchor text cloud there.
Okay. And what's good about this is you can kind of sort by any of these columns. So you're getting the RFs data here. You're getting the age of the backlink, and as you can see, the fact that there isn't really age on these means that these have potentially expired as well. You're getting the PR of those domains, the PageRank, the DA, and also the IPs, and when it was last crawled. So really you can get a big insight into everything before you bid, because I mean maybe this domain sold for $600, and if you were the buyer of this you might have thought you've got a good deal, But as soon as these sites all expire as well and come offline and those links all go, you're losing all these PR links. You're losing all of this juice, which you might not have known about unless you've been able to dig into this data. And you can export everything as well to CSV file, so you can share it with clients if you want, or whatever you want to do with that data, you can do it. So that's kind of how I analyze domains.
So, Colin, let me please ask a question. If a user wanted to go and do this kind of research when trying to purchase a quality domain name, how long do you think that and let's assume that they were a seasoned SEO expert and they knew where to find this information on the web, how long do you think it would take to get and aggregate and analyze all the data that you just showed us, if they were to do it on their own traditionally without SERPed?
I wouldn't even want to try it. But let's just talk about, for example, getting the page rank. The way you could do that is you then go to either whatever provider you use to get to view and see the backlinks. So either RFs or Majestic or Moz or WebMeUp, whichever service you like to use, and you'd go and you'd export all the backlinks for this. You'd first have to go and put this in and export the file, download the file. You then fire up something like Scrapebox, and you put all the domains in there and get it to check the PRs and pull all the PRs in. You then need to reformat it all into something that is readable. So you're not going to get charts like this then. You're going to get it in an Excel file where you're then going to have to create your own tables and sort it by that data. And that will then only give you the PR of the backlinks, so that you can see some of this. It's not going to give you this other data. You would then need to pull that directly from the sources, and yeah, you then have to find whois information for all this. It's not easy. It can be done, but I haven't seen people doing it, and it's really not easy.
So would it be safe to say that it would probably take at least an hour just to research into the depth that you just showed us on SERPed, that it could take an hour or more just to research one domain?
Definitely a lot more, yeah, for sure.
Okay, excellent. Well, that provides an incredible value, because I think it took maybe, 5 or 10 minutes to kind of run the report and kind of go through it at a glance and decide, hey, this isn't a domain that I'd be wanting to invest in.
Right, exactly. And it's important to note that because Backlinks Explorer does cost us a lot, it's available either on our higher plan, or if you take the lower plan, you can just subscribe just for this one tool, which is a benefit. That's another thing that we've really tried to do. We've tried to say, okay, how much do we think that people are going to use these tools? And then we've tried to give more allowance than that. But then let's say that you're a very heavy user on one of the tools. We don't want to try and charge you more on all the tools just because you're using the one. So you can upgrade your favorite tool for the cheapest possible price. You can just upgrade that one tool to get more credits. So we've really tried to be as flexible as possible there for everyone to make sure that everyone has access to all this stuff. So then another one I wanted to show very quickly, just because it's a bit of fun, is exact match domains. Now what's interesting in here is, let's say that you are looking to rank an exact match domain for a client. So if you're looking for a niche or a client offline, like dentists or anything like that, all you do is you would give it a project title. Step 2 is to choose which country you're looking for, okay, and then your extension. So if I'm going to choose USA, I'm going to want to see showme.com.net.orgs, okay, maybe .us and mobi as well, and even .info, etc. But if I'm looking for Canada, I pretty much want to see, okay, are .ca domains available? If I'm looking for France, are .fr is available? You know what I mean? So that you can specifically target where you're going. But let's just say USA. Then you'd enter in a term here, and this could be boiler repairs, this could be plumber, this could be surgeon, this could be lawyers, whatever the case is. You just enter 2 terms in here, and then from here you can either fill in all of this yourself up to 199, or you can just use our pre-filled box and select cities, counties, states, whatever. So if you choose cities, it's going to pull 199 random cities, and then you can search for EMDs. This is then going to go out and it's going to find all those available exact match domains, and then on the ones that are available, it's going to go and it's going to check the exact match search volume. So let's just have a quick look at a past search just to see what this is about. So I ran this a while ago. But just as an example, let's just say, okay, lawyers. So you can see that it checked 3,500 domains, of which it found 1,000 available. So we click View. Now it's going to sort this data by most search volume. So at the time of running this a while ago, San Diego Divorce Lawyers.net was available, and that gets 320 searches, and the other variation of the term 170. So if you add those two together, you're over 500. And look at the cost per click. Look what people are paying to bid on these terms. So just imagine if you're ranking for this term, you think if you rank first or second for San Diego divorce lawyers, which you can do when you have exact match domains, it's a lot easier to rank because you're being very specific and you don't have to optimize for that term. You know, like when you're building backlinks, you don't want to build for this term because it's already optimized for. Google knows what you're ranking for. How much do you think you can rent this out for? A couple of grand a month? Pretty easily, huh? And then you've got Colorado Springs lawyers is available, and as you go down, you see even these ones here where the search volume looks lower. Indianapolis divorcelawyers.net. And just remember, I only put 2 search terms in here, and it gave me all of these results. Okay, now you can search for many, many, many different terms, but if we look down here, there are 72 pages of available domains for these types of terms. Let's have a quick look at dentists. So here was a dentist search, okay? We just go and view this. DentistVirginiaBeach.net and .org are available, and here's some nice search volume coming in there. Okay, great. Sorry, I'm just going to disconnect my Skype real quick. So this tool is pretty fun to use, and it's pretty quick and pretty easy and pretty automated. It runs out and it does all of this sort of stuff for you there. I'm not going to look at the other tools. I'm not even going to talk about them. But you guys, you've seen the power of domain research tools in here.
That's fantastic. I mean, you know, it's amazing. Everything that you're kind of able to include into the system. I mean, there's so many different resources, so many different options. So it really does appeal to a wide base of people who might not even need all the tools, but they have 2 or 3 tools that they really need to use. But if for any reason they need to peek in and use a 3rd or 4th or 5th module because of a specific requirement or client request, it seems like it is all integrated into that one SEO dashboard.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything is here. So the one other interesting thing to note is that what we've looked at is we've looked at 2 sections. We've looked at some keyword and some domain research. But ultimately, SERPed.net is a client management, it's a site management dashboard. And this is where the power is in this section here. And it's so easy to add your sites in here. We even have a WordPress plugin that's just got, now we've just improved it, that you can add, when you create new posts or pages on your blog that has that installed, in one click you can add all the details into SERPed automatically here. And then what's so cool about here is you get the site stats, you get your backlinks profile, your competitors. We pull all this information for you and we keep it all fresh. I'm not going to go into it now, we don't have time, but I'll just show you, just for example, links. When you build links and when you have top links, you paste them in here and you click add links. Every 7 days we're going to go and we're going to check them for you. We're going to make sure that they're still online. And we're going to, you see if its status is active. We're going to make sure they're still indexed in Google. And you can also see if the links are do follow or no follow, what the page rank is, the outbound links. And you just paste all your backlinks in here and click add. And every 7 days we're going to refresh this data for you. We're going to give you a breakdown of all the routes and backlink PRs, your private anchor text cloud. And what's even more interesting is the fact that, let's say this site removes this backlink to you. Then this will change to not found, and you'll receive a notification pop up inside your SERP dashboard saying this link is now no longer found, so that you can follow up, especially if you're paying for that link, or whatever the case may be, or if you want to replace the link. And the other thing is the index status. If this domain is no longer found in Google, you'll get notified as well. So all of this is automated, and obviously it's your data. You can export whenever you want. And once you've added your links in here, we also have a link indexer tool, which I'll quickly click on now just to show you how it integrates. So basically this is under other tools, link indexer. You can see the services here. We pay for these, so you don't have to. Once again, this is value here. Like, I mean, for example, link pipeline, you can spend up to $97 a month on that. We give you credits. We're like, okay, people are not going to be able to use as many credits as supplied by these companies' top plans. So if we take the top plans and we allow you to submit to these companies using our resources and our credits, then you have more than enough here. Like, if you have a look, you can submit 25 URLs, okay? And if you have a look here, you can do 500 submissions a month on the lowest package we have. So are you submitting more than 500 URLs a month to these backlinks indexes? Because I'm not. I only submit sites that aren't indexed and are not, you know, from onto my money sites or anything like that. This is for backlinks that you build that you want to get indexed. And so, I mean, why would you pay subscriptions for these when that's not really necessary? So that's just one more example, and that's under other tools. We don't even consider that important. But let's just go back up to where we were in site management. And as you can see, we've got a pretty intense site manager. Now from there you can also have team accounts, and you can assign tasks to your team members and everything like that. It all comes under here. Now I don't want to get all sporadic and all over the place, but you see you can assign and view team members. So okay, what are tasks for James? Okay, James has to set up social profiles. Now James is a team member of mine. Once he's done this, it'll show me as done. I can also send notifications to James or any other team member by coming here and writing any message and sending notification, as well as seeing my past notifications. Okay, and you can see the activity feed across the site. So I can see all the activity feed, or I can see only James's activity feed. Now James doesn't have any activity yet because it's fictitious and I just set it up. But if he has tasks and if he's running around in your SERPed account and he's using it as a team member, you can see all of everything that James is doing. So, you know, we kind of really try and manage everything here for you. But that's basically part of Site Manager. I'm not going to go into depth, but we do have web analytics as well, which I'm just going to skip over completely. It's self-explanatory. Uptime monitor. What we do is we monitor all the domains in your account for you, and we give you in-depth reports on its uptime and its response time. So you can go to your hosting company if you're getting downtime, and they'll credit you with free months of hosting if you're having a bad downtime. They need the proof. This is the proof. So for example, I can see that this site here has had a tiny bit of downtime. And you can scroll through every single check we do, and you can tell them exactly when it was down. So here we go. Okay, this site was down at 12:14 and 4 seconds on November 6th. I can see that there. And I can see the response times, and I can also look over any period of time up to 60 days. Now, the other thing here is if you're doing this for clients, you can report all of this information to clients, and that's a great value add for them. And if they're getting bad downtime, it's a great reason for you to say, let's increase what I'm charging you, and I'm going to manage your hosting for you. I'll move your hosting, and I'll look after it for you, and I'll make sure it stays online. I'm not even going to go into these other tools. Let's have a quick look at site backups. This is all automated. You can back up your sites. Just click Add Account, fill out this short form, and it'll automatically back up into our Amazon S3 account for you, all encrypted. So if your data center blows up or your server dies, you can just come back in here, view, and restore any of your backups. We're going to keep skipping down, but we've got a WordPress plugin. What this does is you can automatically keep all your WordPress versions up to date. So you can see in one click I can update all the versions on all my sites. I can also add my tracking codes in here for the web analytics. Basically, this integrates a bunch of tools as well. Other things you can do is in one click you can add those pages into your site manager. You can have inner linking profiles, so you can set up where you can inner link all of the information. So anytime a keyword is used, it can link to your home page or an internal page or whatever. So if you're getting automated content posted, you don't even need to look at the posts, and you know that your inner linking profile is happening on autopilot for you. Anyway, I'm really rushing this, and I don't want to, but my favorite tool of them all is PDF site reports, because it allows you to, in a few clicks, generate reports for your clients encompassing all of the data here, and then you can download them as HTML or PDF and share them with your clients, and there's a real value add there. So like if we just have a quick look at this one, this is what it looks like. You can put your own logo, all your own text. That's me with my daughter. Table of contents shows all your site information. Whatever you want to include, you can include or exclude any amount of information. And do you know how long this took to generate? About 3 minutes.
Wow,
Super
3 minutes?
fast.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. And every month that I go to my client again, I just click clone. And it's going to clone this whole report for me with all the data already in there, and I can just update wherever I want to. I can include or exclude any pages I want to. All the rest is all done for you. So for example, like this step here, so web analytics, I can select time period. Okay, I want to show him our last meeting was 7 days ago. I give him a report every 7 days. So generate a report for traffic from the last week. Over here, rank tracker. Okay, I want to give him the ranking results for the last 7 days, the last week. Same thing. Okay, and I can choose to include or exclude keywords. And there's like just 100% flexibility on everything that you can do here. Competition analyzer. Let's show him how he's comparing to his competition. I just tick that, and okay, Dentist Adelaide. Let's see how you compare. See what I mean? And then all you could do is you come down, you give it a name, and you click generate, and you're done. Simple as that.
Wow, so there seems like a ton of tools, and again, when you were saying earlier about having kind of one integrated area to kind of have as a way to manage all of your SEO campaigns, clients, affiliate, private blog network, expired domain buying, it's all kind of all in one. So with all of these benefits, can you, and this might be a tough question to answer, but what would you distill the top 3 benefits or the top 3 things that a SERPed customer would get their biggest bang for the buck? What would be the big kind of 3 benefits you would say for your software would be?
Okay, that's interesting. So if you're using this to research domains to buy, I'd say that the top 3 are definitely top expiring domains, Site Explorer, and Backlinks Explorer. If you're wanting to do keyword research, obviously your ultimate research and what ranks where. Now, if you're looking to manage clients, I definitely say the PDF site reports and the rank tracking tool. Those would be the main ones.
Well, that's such a great answer, Colin. That's such a good marketing answer, just because, like, what are the top 3 benefits? Well, it depends on which of these 3 sections, so here's really 9 benefits. But it's great.
No, I'm sorry, I couldn't bring it down any further.
And it's great because that way I think anybody, because obviously sometimes people might feel like, gosh, there's so much information here that maybe they feel a little bit overwhelmed. So I think maybe identifying, hey, if this is your kind of what you really need to get the most out of this software is going to be in the domain area or the keyword research or client management aspects, it's great that you're able to identify these sections as saying, hey, here's where your biggest value is going to be, and everything else is kind of like free bonuses, even if you don't use them that often, right?
Well, that's the thing. Any one of those 9 things I just mentioned is worth more than the price of admission. So even if you're just using 1 out of those 9 things, then you're covering your costs. And then if you want to use 2, you're halving your cost, if you know what I mean. So basically, I don't expect people to use all the tools. That's the thing. We're trying to cater. We're trying to make sure that if you decide one day that, I need to do this, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I can log into SERPed and do it. The thing with, for example, the site management, once you've added your site, all of these other things take care of themselves automatically. So it looks like there's like 10 tools there, but in practice, you're only visiting these tools very occasionally, and the rest is kind of doing it for you. Same with rank tracking. So for example, let's just say, okay, there's this site, it's not my site. But what I can do is I can view the keywords for this site here. And as you can see, I rank differently. When I say I mean this site. It ranks first in Google UK, but 4th in Google US, 3rd in Canada. You wouldn't know this if you're using a rank tracker where you're only checking US, You'd be like, okay, yeah, I rank 4th. But you wouldn't know that you rank 1st in the UK. You wouldn't be able to report that to your client or for yourself. You know what I mean? Because normally most rank trackers will allow you to check in one country. So what we do here is we can click add keywords. All we do is we add as many keywords as we want. We choose where we want the search volume from. So even the search volume we provide, you can either have global or you can have from a specific country. If your client is Italian and you're doing an Italian hotel or whatever, you can specifically target search volume from there. And then when you're choosing engines, you tick Google. And once again, here's the list of all the places that you can actually get results from.
Wow, that's a lot of countries.
Yeah, it's a lot of countries, and flexibility is what I was telling you it's all about, right? So others would say, okay, every 3 days your rankings are updating. Well, we want to give you an option. Maybe you want to check a lot more keywords, you want to spread your credits differently, and you only want to check twice a month. And for people who want to do that, we've even created a solution that other keyword tools don't have. I'm going to show you that right now. Other rank tracking tools, rather. You see quick check. You can come here and let's say, oh, okay, this is my main term that I rank for, or my client is asking me where he ranks for in this term. So all I have to do is I just go here and I enter in a keyword and a site, and I can check it instantly. So let's say, I don't know, Eric, give me a keyword and a site. Where do you want to know what site ranks for?
How about let's do for, I'm looking for a specific URL that I need to give you for a website.
No, not a specific URL, just the site URL.
Oh, the main site. So let's do, how about, I don't want to reveal any of the clients that we're working with right now, so I'm having a hard time coming up. Let's do stemsite.com, STEMCYTE.com.
Stem and then site, S-I.
C-Y-T-E. C is in Charlie, Y is in Yahoo, T-E.
Yep, okay.
And cord blood banking.
Lovely topic. Okay, cord blood banking like that. Let's say we want to check it in Google. Which country?
United States.
English or Spanish?
Anglais, English.
Okay. And we'll do an instant check there. It costs more credits, but we want to know right now. So we do that. And what's going to happen is it's adding it here. Now I'll just, you see there it is there. I'll refresh this page in a little while. I'll come right back to that and we'll be able to see where we're ranking. But in the meantime, I do just want to show you a little bit more depth on what you can actually do with the keywords. Now, unfortunately, I've only just added this, so we're not going to be able to see a chart over time because I've just put it in. But I also want to show that as admins, we write when there's updates in the search engines. So you can see Tuesday, September 23, Panda 4.1 rolled out. And over here, Friday, October 17, Penguin 3 rollout starts. Now, if you've got your charts here and you see your rankings suddenly drop off over the period of this point in time, you know why. You've been hit by Penguin. Or if you see your rankings suddenly quadruple, you've benefited from Penguin. So you can always see this over time, and you can obviously remove them at any stage as well by simply toggling them on and off. But pretty much we're going to show you over a 1-year ranking period if you want to see. You can really go in depth there. You can see all the way back in July 24, Pigeon, which is an algorithm change for local SERPs, hit. So if you have local sites and they increase, you could say, okay, I benefited from Pigeon. Now the other thing is the ranking page, the exact page that's ranking. We're going to be able to show you your Facebook likes, shares, tweets, +1 and Alexa, as well as more information. If you click that, you go back to Site Manager. You can put notes on any term. So let's say that you start building some links on a certain date. You would add notes, and then there'll be a flag here with your note. So then you can see over time the effects that has. And also, if you have competitors, you can track your competitors and you can see your competitors over time as well. Now you can see I only added this keyword yesterday, so it's only done one update. But if it's over time, you'll see a full table here with as many records as you want showing all the updates. So it's massively in-depth on every single keyword.
So obviously there's a tremendous amount of data, information, coding that's taking place. And obviously anybody who's a seasoned veteran in the search engine optimization community doing SEO and is using other maybe perhaps mature softwares like Majestic, Moz, those types of things, they know that they've been around for a long time. So what about SERPed and its future support? Because obviously some software companies will launch like a brand new product, but a year or two later it just kind of fades away. I mean, how do you plan on dealing with ongoing support, updates, etc.? And do you have any kind of track record as far as you or your company in doing that with prior products?
Yeah, of course. So my main membership site, as I mentioned before, was founded in 2007, and it's still going strong now in 2014. So that's 7 years old, and we're still supporting it, and it's still going. And on that note, when you're talking about where will SERPed be, I've just put way too much blood, sweat, and tears and money into this, and the team behind this, that there's absolutely no chance that we're not going to keep supporting this. You know, it's not going to be one of those things that's here today, gone tomorrow. Going as far as to even say that our run rate, so our burn rate on this, is, I would say, I don't want to give specifics, but 10,000 a month. So if you say, okay, for the last 18 months, 10,000 a month, there's 180 grand gone into this in terms of expenses, and that's after what we've received from having our 100 odd beta testers. So every month we have beta testers in at different price points, getting pretty close to what the release price point is. And even after all of that, we still have a big burn rate. And so just with that sheer fact of, how much that just shows how much we believe in the project. Plus the fact that this is a demo account, but if you look in my main account, I'm a very heavy user, and there's no way that I want to basically start settling again for substandard tools from other services. And
so basically, you're putting where your mouth is. That if you're using this for your own personal income or for your own client's income, you're not just saying, hey, I'm going to use this to make a quick buck. This is the same thing that I'm using, so this needs to be successful.
Exactly. I mean, even if we didn't sell any memberships, I would still keep it online for myself. So that's pretty much, I guess, the best way that I can answer that. And if people do have information overload, you see here we have a support section. We have all the video tutorials listed here. We have FAQs, and we can be reached on the help desk. We always reply within a day. So pretty much there's always a helping hand there for anyone who gets a little bit overwhelmed. But basically it's just a case of using it, getting on the bike, going through the system. So let's go back to our quick check. Let's see where that term ranks that we did a search for. So it's not in the top 100 for that site. STEM site, spelled like that. Cord blood banking.
Oh, it's CYTE. I think you might have had it CITE.
I have CI.
Yeah, it's
okay.
CY as in Yahoo. T. That might be why. No pun intended. CYT. And while we're doing that and rerunning that, you had mentioned that you've had a different amount of beta testers throughout this process, and I know that we have Joe here, who's one of those beta testers today. I'd like to put you both on the spot real quick, if you don't mind, as far as during this beta testing process, what kind of success stories or benefits can you guys share publicly? Specifically Joe, obviously I think that Colin's going to say how great his product is, but as a beta tester, Joe, how has it helped you with either your business, your client's business? What kind of success have you had using the software?
I have to say, I've not used it. I've not taken advantage of it for managing my clients. I've been sort of building my business with it. How do I describe this? You caught me off guard. Because so much of my focus has been on private blog networks, building those out, supplying links to people who aren't technically clients because I don't have a month-to-month relationship with them. What I've done is I've used some of the more short-term focused tools. What I intend to get on top of next is some of the tools that allow me to track changes in keywords over time and those kinds of things. You mentioned it earlier, it's an immense tool. I mean, there's just so much to do that I have to control my natural ADHD by focusing in on things that are going to make me more money, and then over time, after I master those, I will move on to other things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, I think that just from the brief overview, Colin, that you're showing with us in terms of the demonstration, the dashboard and doing a demo, I think that you've done a fairly good job of kind of segmenting things appropriately so that people can actually explore the different modules before they kind of move over there. Because obviously, as entrepreneurs, we're in the business of making money and hopefully enjoying more free time with that money. And as opposed to just spending all our time learning the software, it would make sense to find out where you can get the biggest bang from the buck and then figure out how to make that work. And then once you've kind of build up that module with new revenues coming in or increased rankings, then you could expand into other areas. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. And just for us, we have Doc on the line. So Doc, we've only just brought this out. I don't know if you've had a chance to use it yet, but have you seen our Content Restorer tool?
I saw you talk about it on a webinar on Tuesday, and while you were on the webinar, I played around with it a little bit, but then I got a big order for links, and I haven't gotten back to it yet.
Okay, well, the good news is you're distracted because you're making money. So basically what it does is it's going to allow you, there's another service out there that charges $7.50 per site that you download to restore the content. Okay, now that can add up over time, and we've basically just built this and provided it because I wanted to use it. I was sick of paying every time I wanted to restore a site $7.50. So just on that note, it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but when you're doing a lot of sites and just the hassle of not being able to use it right now, you know, time is money. And so I basically built this for myself, and it's pretty cool. And there's 3 reasons why you'd use a content restorer. Once you buy an expired domain, you want to bring the old content back, because then if Google comes and has a look at the site, it sees the same content there. It's like, okay, cool, nothing's changing here, this is all good. And then you can safely put your link in again in there, but later to get some link juice. That's the first reason. The second reason is if people come to a site following a link, and the link they followed was about dog training, and they click that link and suddenly they're getting health and fitness information or health supplements and pills, they're going to contact that site owner. They might not, but they might contact that site owner, and they're going to say, this link no longer goes to where you're saying it does. Maybe you should remove it. That person's going to remove that link, and you're going to lose that juice link. Okay, so there's 2 main reasons, and a third reason is cost of content. Our content restorer will actually pull back, I think it's 50 pages deep, so you can restore that content and just rewrite it a little bit as you want and make it a bit different, but 50 pages in the same structure, so you don't then have to go and pay to get all that new content written yourself. That's
amazing. It's just amazing.
I think it's got a fair bit of power.
Decide which of the images on Wayback Machine to access? Does it use the most recent one?
Well, what we've actually done is we give you the choice. So you go to Wayback Machine for the domain, and you select the snapshot, and then once you've got the snapshot, you just copy and paste the URL directly, and you just paste it in here.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And then you just put in your email address, and it'll send you the zip file as soon as it's ready. Also, a notification will pop up here, and you can download it directly. And because this is a demo site, I haven't got any in here, but normally they'll all be listed down here as well, and we keep the last 10 for you, and also for 30 days, whichever comes first. So you have plenty of time to download them.
Well, I know that one of the things that Doc, or Joe, as we both know him, his nickname is Doc, because he's super smart, but he was talking a little bit about private blog networks and that being kind of a focal point for his business model. But obviously, everyone in the SEO community is kind of up in arms about Google's recent update, which seems to be specifically targeting private blog networks. What are your thoughts about what's happened, and with your set of beta testers or with your prior experience in SEO, what kind of feedback are you getting from the SEO community?
I think that generally the people who I associate with, some of them took a hit, many of them didn't, but the ones who did, they're just brushing off their shoulders and getting back into it. And I think that's more like you kind of end up associating yourself over a period of time with those types of people. I guess you could say winners, perseverers, people who take the bumps and keep going. So I would say that a lot of people I know actually didn't even get affected at all. But other people who I do know who had a decent amount of their network de-indexed, or even if it was a small percentage, they just keep going. You look at, obviously you do research into what could have caused this, and so on and so forth. And the bottom line is there's courses out there teaching you how to do these sorts of things the right way, and you're never going to be totally immune. But if you're making so much money from it, and the other benefit of having PBNs is you actually control the link. So that means that, let's say that your PBNs get de-indexed, you just remove the links, and no harm, no foul type thing, and then you just replace it with new ones that are still indexed and still kicking on well. That's my opinion. And I'm actually kind of, in a way, glad it happened, because people who do their proper research on their domains, on their PBNs, they're staying relatively safe. So what I mean by research is using the correct tools, hint, hint, and then also, once you've done that, basically just making the site add value. You don't want people who build really messy PBNs where it's purely to pass juice link and they do nothing else with it. Sure, that's not really adding value to the visitor or to the internet. But if you create your PBN, if you treat each one as kind of like a niche site in and of itself, that has social signals, has a mailing list, has even a Facebook community, whatever the case may be with that persona. If people visit that site and they're reading it and the content is good and you're actually solving a need for them, then fair game. That's my opinion on that. And I'd love to hear what Doc thinks about that as well.
I think you're spot on. I know that I've been awfully happy that I took the extra time whenever I built one of these sites to make it look like it was monetized, so that it sort of was a PBN site in money site clothing. Because I lost one site throughout this whole Penguin 3.0 mess, and it was actually a Tumblr site, which I had worked on a handful of Blogger and Tumblr sites to build authority, just to try it out and to see how it fit into the mix. And that one Tumblr site was the only thing that got hit. So I felt like I came through pretty well. And I think strong content makes a lot of difference. I think you're really opening yourself up if you put a bunch of short, spammy, very poorly written or spun articles on a front page with 30 or 40 or 50 outbound links. I think you're just setting yourself up for failure. Even if they don't get you in this algorithm change, you can be sure that they're coming for you before it's over with.
Yeah, totally agree with that. And with that in mind, I think what Doc was touching on there is a lot of posts have been put on pretty popular forums, as you were saying, Eric, along the lines of PBNs are not worth it. They're not worth the time. They're not worth the stress. They're not worth the hassle, the cost, blah, blah, blah. The fact remains, if you do it right, it is the best links that you can get for your sites, because you're fully in control of them. You can remove them at any stage. And they also work out to be the cheapest links that you can get for the quality that you get. So, to be honest, I think that a lot of people, the people who make money with PBNs, were all doing happy dances whenever one of these articles was published, like, yippee, less competition when finding domains.
Well, again, on the topic of private blog networks, from what I understand, that hosting and where you host your sites and how you host your sites can make or break the effectiveness of a private blog network. It's my understanding through my research that it looks like you recently helped to co-launch another hosting service, or I guess you would call maybe an SEO hosting company called Easy Blog Networks. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, but pretty much the way that works is I'm a minor shareholder in it, and I guess they're kind of using my SEO knowledge and feedback from that front to kind of set it up correctly. But they're very, very smart team, very smart, and what they've built is a very, very powerful system, because it's not SEO hosting, but it does the same, but in data centers all around the world, and it's not the cheap hosting either, where you generally end up on spam or scam or phishing sites, neighborhoods, in bad neighborhoods. It's somehow they've set it up in a way, and when I say they, I mean we, but I'm not privy to any of how they're doing all that sort of stuff behind the scenes. But on Amazon and Rackspace and HP and all these top hosting companies, and yet they're still coming in a lot cheaper than any SEO hosting. So every single site, and I use them as well, obviously. Once again, money where the mouth is. And every single site that I set up has been on a different server, and almost every time in different data centers. So it's like there's just no footprint tied in at all, but everything's managed from the same database for you as well. So it's really powerful. It's really cool. If people want to check that out, and if they want to start learning more about that, then they can check out easyblognetworks.com. As I said, I'm a minor shareholder in that, but I use it myself, and one of the perks is that I get access to that. So that's pretty cool. And just to quickly go back to showing you the quick check, there you go. I just want to show you I ran it again. So you rank, well, when I say you, the site that you picked ranks 8th for cord blood banking and 9th for cord blood bank, which also gets some decent search volumes. These terms are pretty cool. And what I like about this is you can check it instantly like we just did. And then at any stage you can just tick them and just click recheck. And then you can choose how fast you want your results, instant or normal. And then it'll go and do it again. And you've got to understand that this is, and look, here's competition analyzer. Let's have a quick look. So you rank 8th on this one. It's going to go and it's going to launch this, and we'll be able to see our results in a little while. But what's so cool about this, I'm actually just going to close that for now. What's so cool about this is the fact that it's a supplementary. It's considered a quick check. Every month your credits here re-top up again. And once again, we pay for all of that for you. So every check that happens costs us money. And we've included all of that for you. So the cities and country tracking, what happens here is this is an ongoing monitoring system. So you set it up once and it's automatically going to monitor all your keywords for you. So for example, in cities, if I click add new keywords, you'll see I'll be able to put in over here up to 5 cities. And you just enter in the postcode or whatever. So the postcode everyone knows, 90210. Okay, I first have to select my country. So yeah, I forgot to tell you it works in cities worldwide. Okay, so let's just go 90210. Add new city. And then you can actually give names. Let's say, okay, where do we rank in New York? And as you start typing, it's going to come down and it's going to give you, I mean this one. And that's pretty much how you do it. And then you just add your keywords and it's going to tell you people who are searching in this specific location where your site ranks, which is perfect for local clients. And so, as I said, there's the cities and the countries, but then you also have the quick check and a YouTube tracker as well, which is pretty cool too.
Excellent. Well, just amazing tool. I mean, to have all this SEO features and benefits all rolled into one dashboard, it's fantastic. And with all the updates that Google's making in terms of search engines and trying to minimize the people that aren't maybe doing online marketing in the right way, it's caused a lot of, like, I guess, turnover maybe or turbulence in the search engine world, to the fact that even some people are claiming that SEO is dying as an industry, like SEO Moz rebranding to Moz, Majestic SEO rebranding to Majestic. So some people are actually saying SEO is dying, I guess, a slow death. What's your opinion on that, launching this new SEO interface?
Well, firstly, I don't only think of this as an SEO interface. I think of it as a kind of a client management system. But regarding SEO dying, I mean, I don't see it. Are people searching less in Google? I don't think so. They're searching more. And what's interesting is the search terms used are about 50% of the time have almost never been typed into Google before. So there's so much fruit there. There's so much low-hanging fruit. I mean, it's more people are coming online, more people are searching, and therefore, if you're ranking in Google, you're going to get all that. And what is the key factor to ranking in Google? It's exactly the same as it was when it was built in the back of a garage so many years ago. It's backlinks. So I don't see how SEO is dying. I mean, it just does not make sense to me at all. I know that they think that ultimately it's a machine, right? So until we have artificial intelligence in a way that Google can go through as a machine and sort through websites as if it was smarter than a human and do it at a rate of, I don't know, like millions of sites a day, there's absolutely no chance that SEO is dying. That's my opinion on it, and maybe Doc has an opinion there too.
Well, I'll say this. I'm glad that it is a constantly improving algorithm because, in my opinion, what it does is it weeds out our competition because the vast majority of them are notoriously sloppy and they were cocky about what they could do to fool Google, for that matter, any of the search engines. And I think those of us who understood that the long-term secret was to mimic what Google was ultimately looking for, and not just where the algorithm was at any point in time. I think that gave us a huge leg up.
Exactly.
Well, again, I think you make a very valid point, Colin, that, hey, are people searching less on Google? No, if anything, people are utilizing search engines more and more and more, especially with proliferation of smartphones and internet access all across the world. And so does that mean that all of a sudden people are going to stop making any attempt to try to improve their online presence, whether it be through search engine optimization, conversion rate, or making their websites load faster? I just don't see that even really being feasible. But for anybody who's watching this, definitely wanted to put you on the spot in terms of anybody who might be of the opinion that SEO is dying, or that it's becoming so competitive that they're going into a new industry or leaving the industry. And I can't imagine how anybody watching this and seeing the amount of time that really having this one integrated area to manage their online presence. I don't see how anybody could not be a SERP customer and compete with all this data and information and the time saving alone that you get out of it, not to mention the funds that you would save from using other products or services. It's almost like you're kind of forcing everyone, Colin, to force everyone to becoming a SERP customer. Was that your original intent?
Now who's the marketer? I should get you on the payroll. No, but seriously, I do actually fully agree with what you're saying. Like, if you look at it this way, pretty much Google is trying to say that their algorithm is going to get so good that they're just going to be able to scan your site and look at the social signals and whatever. They're going to use their algorithm, and they're going to be able to determine exactly what's best for the different terms that people are searching. And they're saying that, okay, you might rank for this long tail term because we believe that you answer that question, but you won't rank for the related terms because we believe that there's other sites out there that do better. But the fact of the matter is, targeting any one term is millions and millions of sites, and there's only 10 results on the front page. So Google has to use something other than just the on-page content. They can't say, okay, well, so they've got to use other factors. And as soon as they start using other factors, that means that there's SEO, because that means that there's opportunities for you to go out there and improve in those other factors. So maybe it's going slightly more social than it was before. Maybe they're starting to use social signals a bit more. But even then, I mean, one day in the future, and we're talking a long time in the future, it might be the fact that, let's just take Twitter as an example. They count the number of tweets, which is what they kind of put a little bit of weight on at the moment. But then in future, they might say, okay, we're not just going to count the number of people tweeting about this site. We're now going to count how many followers those people who are tweeting about this site have, and how often they tweet, and are they an influencer in this industry, and blah, 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 blah. But that's still an algorithm, and that's still so far away anyway. But when it does get here, it's still an algorithm. You're still going to be doing SEO. You're still going to be able to rank your sites ahead of the competition if you have the right tools and the right service. And I think that's why I'm pretty much determined to try and stay on top of things always.
Well, that's excellent. So obviously, anybody who's watching this and might think that SERPed is a great solution or a fantastic tool to incorporate into their marketing businesses or to help with clients or affiliate marketing. Obviously, you're basically have publicly stated here on today's interview. I don't know if this is the first time that people are publicly, it's been even made, SERP's been able to be publicly available. Are you doing any kind of like special offer at this point in time, or is there any kind of special deal that you'd like to offer anyone who's actually viewing this right now, as far as the kind of the launch of your product?
If I was a better marketer, then there might be some sort of deal. But basically, I would say that the current price points where they're at are just as good as we can possibly get them. So the deal is that the prices in future will probably go up. So they'll never go down. So basically, publicly, you're never going to get a better price than what it says on the website right now. I don't even want to mention the prices because they might have already gone up, and I don't want to scare you away, because it's like a Hermes bag. If people know what that means, every year they increase the price by like 10%. And the way I know is because my wife likes Hermes a fair bit. So. It's like it's an investment. Get in now because next year it's 10% more.
Well, yeah, obviously with inflation and the cost of everything that goes up over time. I mean, what did hamburger cost in the 1950s? A nickel, right? Now you're lucky to get anything that can really even be called. I don't know if you can technically call it a hamburger anymore. It's $1, right? So obviously, as we go into the future, everything goes up in value, and that means everything costs more. So. If you're taking a look at this and you think this is a great tool, I mean, is there any kind of contract? I mean, or is it just a purely month-to-month? I mean, is there any risk involved if people sign up to the SERP program?
In fact, the opposite. So it's month-to-month, but we also have a 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. Also, no questions asked. Obviously, we'd love to hear why you're deciding to cancel, but within your first 30 days, you can request a full 100% refund. So yeah, there's a pretty strong ironclad guarantee there. It's no questions asked, money back, and yeah, I mean there's no contract at all. Cancel whenever you want, upgrade whenever you want, downgrade whenever you want. But one thing that I can say is when you are on a subscription, your price will never increase. If you hop off that subscription, whatever the price is on the site, then that's what you come in at again. But awesome. I will add one more note. Get support at SERPed.net. Get support at SERPed.net. If you have any questions, if you have any sort of issues or anything like that, put it in a mail for me. I'll endeavor to get back to you super fast.
Awesome. Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I mean, before we kind of finish up and wrap up the interview, Colin, is there any other thing that you want to add or that we didn't ask you about that you wanted to address to anybody who might be watching this now or in the future?
To be honest, I'm pretty passionate about my project, but I'm not really the type who's going to try and push it, So I think basically I tried to cover it as well as I could with the demo and the screen shares, and I think all I really want to add is thanks, guys. If anyone is still with us after almost 2 hours, then I guess we're talking about what you're interested in hearing, and hopefully I'll be able to see you as a member and communicate with you through the site. Also, I do want to thank you, Eric, for putting on this interview, and I also want to thank Doc very much for his inputs and also sitting there and listening to this interview with us.
Well, awesome. Well, Colin, definitely thank you for your time. Definitely excited to see the future of SERPed and how it's going to evolve and grow in the search engine optimization community. We definitely wish you all the best, and it looks like I'm going to have to continue to be a long-term customer as well, just because it looks like a fantastic product for the fact that for the clients that we do some consulting with on. But again, appreciate your time, and for those of you that are watching this, we are going to put out an article, a news release on newswire.net, and so you can get a kind of the short version of today's interview, but hopefully you're going to be watching this recording. And again, if you have any questions or concerns, go visit the SERPed, SERPed.net, and check it out, and hopefully you can take advantage of it, and make sure that you go visit newswire.net and get enrolled to get notified of the next interview that we do with another successful entrepreneur. So Colin, thank you again for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Eric.
And we'll see you guys at the next interview. Have a fantastic day.
Thanks.
All right, bye-bye.